Okay, guys. First of all, so what is CPU? So what is CPU? Central Central Processing Unit. Central Processing Unit, also called as processor. Also called as a processor. This processor built by several companies. Several companies. The one of the important company is Intel. One of the important companies Intel. The most widely used processor manufacturer is Intel processors. Another important one is AMD. AMD. It is another organization. AMD is another organization who is building AMD, who is building CPU processors. Okay, both are different, so both are incompatible. Means if I use a computer earlier is a Intel processor I am using. Now I want to remove the Intel and I want to insert a AMD processor, it won't fit in it. Okay, both are completely different processors. Okay, but both are processors. Okay, so okay, so if you see, if you can go to the Amazon also, no problem. Intel processors. You see, this is a i3 processor, 10th generation F model processor, 4 core, 8 thread processor, 6 MB cache. It is showing like that. Okay, so it is showing LGA 1200 processor. Okay, so this is a i5 processor. Again, this is i3 processor. Mm, These are a Intel processor. Then this is the AMD processor. You can see this is the AMD processor. It is a different Ryzen 7, Ryzen 5, Ryzen 3, okay, Athlon processor, Athlon processors. So different type of series processors also there in a AMD. Their supporting motherboards also different. Not only this, one another one is like a via Motorola, like this. Motorola mainly not for a PC processor. Motorola mainly processor for a mobile phones. The first mobile phone processor made by Motorola. Cisco routers, switches, those devices also use Motorola processor only. Only one question. So tell me, you are using, we are all using a mobile phones. Maybe a person is belongs to take IT, non-IT, hardware, no hardware, but we are all using a mobile phones. Each mobile phone has a processor, right? The two, we have a smart mobile phones. We have a now a knowledge of a processors, right? Inside of your mobile phone. Tell me some processor names. One, two, or anything. Which based on your mobile phone also you can tell. Qualcomm Snapdragon, right? So, for example, I go to this model, Xiaomi mobile. If you go there, it will be tell which processor inside. Okay, it is not giving anything. At least, yeah, Qualcomm Snapdragon. This is the processor with the Cairo 750. This is a GPU processor, octa core processor. Okay, octa core processor. Maybe I will go to this IQO Snapdragon. This is also name Snapdragon. Um, Galaxy. So this is a Samsung Galaxy, right? So Samsung Galaxy MediaTek. This is MediaTek. Processor name is MediaTek. Octa-core processor. 2 gigahertz processor. Okay. So this is Oppo. Oppo is using which processor? Snapdragon 480. Snapdragon 480. So this is Realme Razo, like this is. You're not given any MediaTek Helio G95 processor. So like that. So if you go to the mobile phone also, must require a processor. That is a mobile phone processors. Okay. Where is this? Mm, this is okay. So these are a different type of processors. So when you see a processor in a nowadays that too, the processors are a number of cores are important in the processor. Okay. So which processor model? Number of cores, number of threads, number of threads, number of cores, important. So like a two-core processor, four-core processor, like a quad-core processor, deca-core processor, like that six-core processor is there. Threads, if you have a threads, it is look like this one. So for example, my core processor is four-core processor, and it has a threads means it shows like this. Okay. So what is this cores? We'll see. Here it is in my diagram. I will show you. Drawing is not there, so compulsory have to use this one only. Okay. So this is a single processor. Think like this is a single processor. Physically it is a single processor, but logically they divide a processor into two parts. They divide a processor into two parts like this. So single processor divided into four parts now. Earlier it is two parts, now it is I made it as a four parts. But in both the time it is a single processor only. So what is these threads? Each part of the processor divided into two parts again. Okay, each part of the processor divided into two parts. That is called a threads. So what happened while I divide one single processor into multiple parts and a part into multiple parts again. So what is the advantage of this technology is the faster multitasking become a much faster. Multitasking become a much faster. A processor usually handles lot of queries, but not at a time. So one by one, it can be handled, and you have to manage with the threads like a priority order process is very important. So other processor become late, but it here at a time you can run a multiple processors. So then faster execution is possible as compared to single core processor. Okay, there's a lot of different technologies are there. So this is a single processor and add another processor, two processors. Okay, here it is two processor and combined and make this one as a single processor only. By combination it become a single processor only. So this is called a dual core processor. Dual core means two processor combined and single processor. Of course, I didn't tell about cache memory. So it has a shared cache memory. It has a shared cache memory. It has a shared cache memory. So this is also faster than a single processor. It is also double the faster than single processor type, but not fast as a core model. Not fast as a core model. Dual core means a single processor is divided into two parts. That's it. So the cache memory is separately separate cache memory for each core. This is the core 0, this is core 1, like this is core 1. So separate cache memory is there. So what is this cache memory? What is this cache memory? Guys, as a given a block diagram, your system is won't work like that. It is This is a processor. Think it is a processor, and this is the RAM. This is a processor, and this is the RAM. In a processor, we load instructions from the input devices, right? Actually, it is not like that. This is I said RAM, right? So this is my RAM. I have a input devices and I have a output devices. Input devices like a keyboard, mic, like that. So I have a devices, output devices like a monitor, printer, like this. These are devices are there. But all devices are connected to motherboard. All devices are connected to motherboard. Not only a input output devices, secondary storage devices like a hard disk, CD-ROM. Okay, like all these devices are connected to motherboard. So on motherboard there is a IO controller. Okay, on motherboard there is a IO controller. Okay, so all these devices interact with the IO controller only, not to CPU directly. It won't communicate to CPU directly, to through IO controller only, because IO controller understand the device. Is a device is I given an input from keyboard, so IO controller understand a signal came from keyboard, a signal came from mic, something input from the joystick. Okay, or it has to be put a output on a monitor, or maybe it has to take a print, maybe it has to store in a hard disk, maybe it has to retrieve the data from the hard disk. So like that. So IO controller knows about the devices and how to communicate with the devices known by IO controller. So once it is understand, and it put in a proper format of the data and give the data to RAM, give the data to RAM. RAM load the data to the CPU. RAM load the data to CPU. Once CPU done the processing, and it load the data to RAM only. It load the data to RAM only, and RAM to IO controller. IO controller distribute the output to output devices. So it is a cycle. So IO controller understand the devices and take the instructions and data from the devices and load into the RAM. RAM load the instructions and data to CPU. CPU process it. CPU put the data into the RAM, and RAM is put the data into. So CPU, sorry, RAM load the data and give the data to CPU, and take the data from CPU and give it. So RAM don't store any data here. Understand that point. Next, what is this cache memory? Cache memory is in between your CPU and RAM and built inside a CPU. Cache memory is not a separate one. Cache memory is built inside of the cache CPU only, but it is outer interface to the RAM. It is a interface to the RAM. So RAM load the data to cache, cache load the data to CPU. CPU give the data to cache, cache will give the data to RAM. So it is a intermediate memory. It is a built inside of CPU. What is the advantage of using cache? Like a cache only. Easy to catch. Cache is a easy to catch type. Means give it will maintain the speed of data delivery to CPU, and to the RAM also it will maintain that speed, and also it won't make CPU as a ideal also. It is a very simple. Catchy means no examples now, we don't have a time. Okay, so catchy means very simple. It take the data from RAM and give to the CPU. So faster, because it is inbuilt in a CPU. It matches the speed. Example, yeah. For example, my processor is 6.2.6 gigahertz processor. It's 2.6 gigahertz processor. My RAM speed is 1600 megahertz speed. It means 1.6 gigahertz speed. 1.6 gigahertz speed. RAM speed is always in a megahertz. CPU is gigahertz nowadays, at least. Earlier different one, now it is compulsory, like that, because it's a processor now less than 1 giga processor is not there. It is there, but for computers we don't use that one. Okay, so see the difference. The speed of the RAM is less and the speed of the processor is very high. So there must be a match, is there? No, so cache as the speed as CPU, so then it load the data from RAM and it can able to give it to CPU. So this is how works. Okay, so this is the cache memory in the CPU. So this is the cache memory in the CPU. This cache memory will load the instructions, okay, from the IO devices, and it share the instruction to the CPU here. Okay, so what happened, data is the same, but process is sharing, means processing is feed is good, but problem is with the cache sharing, with the cache for both the processor same single cache only. So what happened, multitasking is faster, but loading is slow because single cache. Okay, it is doing very fast way. So a single task easy to complete, multitask little difficult to complete. But here it is, if I load a instruction one cache, the cache to CPU, then instruction that the task will be completed, and another task will load it to another cache, and that cache will work with the another CPU. Same goes for octa core, means this kind of means 4 core processors with the threads like this. So this is a 4 core processor. We have a 4 caches for each. Uh, so 4 caches, and for each there is a single cache memory. So you load instruction to the cache load the instruction to CPU. So multitasking will works as simple as is a single task only. Okay, like that, and no need to maintain a multiple processors here. Earlier days, if you take a server motherboards, old server motherboard, you can google it, server motherboards old style. Okay, so you will find a motherboard having a two CPU sockets, 4 CPU sockets, like that. So now this is not required, single processor is there. There is a processor called a Xeon processor. Okay, so in a Xeon processor, from 4 core to 10 core processor is also there. Okay, like a deca core, 4 core processor, 10 core processor, 12 core processor, 16 core processor also there in this Xeon model. Okay, so usually this is a dual core. I think dual core is, this is a core 2 Geo model. Okay, core 2 Geo model. This is a quad core model, so quad core. Okay, but nowadays we don't have a core 2 geo and quad core, we have a i3 model type. So earlier i3 is 2 core type, now we have a 4 core i3s. Okay, i5 4 core, i7 is a 6 core processor, i9 is also there. So in a Intel, we can see, you must check how many cores in it, because of generations difference are there. Core processor means nowadays from Intel i3, i5, and i7 only. Of course i9 is also there for a desktop purpose. For a server purpose, we should use Intel Xeon processor from Intel side only. AMD, it is depends upon you. A people basic users, for a normal basic users, i3 is enough. But for students and basic users, people who are a professional or a heavy users like me, I use virtual machines kind of stuff, so that is i5 is better. people use very high computing like database administrations, virtual machine management, programming, gaming, like that. It is i5 or a i7 is better. I don't know about i9 because it's a very costly one, and it is like, for you want to put a money like you are rich kid, then you can offer the i5 i9. For a style purpose you can put it, or really say so you need a more higher speed thing. On other hand, lot of people want to buy very high speed processor like a i5, sorry, i7 or i9 type of processors. People want to buy i7 and i5 processor and put a 4 GB ram in it. 4 GB ram in it, that is not a good idea. Okay, if you are using i3, 4G is okay because it's preferably for a low end users only. But my thing, nowadays, if you are using i3 new processor, better to go with the 8 GB. Minimum 8 GB RAM is required. If you are using i5, if you are using i5, at least minimum put a 8 GB RAM because you are a professional user. So basically, you require to do lot of tasks. So it's not always about a processor. It is also about a RAM. Better to add one more 8 GB if required. So 16 GB maintain. Nowadays it is easy to buy, right? So if you are paying 50,000 for an i5 processor, put another 5,000 for a extra 8 GB processor. Okay, if you are using a i7 or i9, compulsory 16 to 32 GB compulsory use it. Okay, so don't use 4 GB RAM for a i5 or i7 processor because your work is high. Then better to buy that time only. So don't need to invest more money on buying a laptops with a higher configuration if it is not useful for you. Okay, you're a basic mobile phone caller or a messenger, that's it. So then you put a 50,000 rupees for that mobile phone. Waste of money, right? Waste of money, useless. Okay, it's an electronic device. It will be damaged anytime. Okay. So guys, understand a core processor and cache and work of cache and the cache sharing here. Some people gone already. It is okay. So I'm telling you about a cache now. So we'll see the cache, some more details. These caches are in a levels. Cache, cache usually in a different levels. L1 cache, L2 cache, L3 cache. So what is L1 cache? So L1 cache is very near to CPU. On top of L1, L2 is there. On L2, L3 is there. Like this, it is like this is L1 and this is CPU. Okay, everything is built inside a CPU only. This is first one is L1, this is L2, and this is L3. L1, 1, 2, 3, like this. So instruction is loaded to 3, 3 to 2, 2 to 1, and 1 to CPU. Okay, I will show you how to see what is your L1 and L2, L3. So like this. Go to the task manager. Yeah, you will get a recording of the class. Okay, no problem. So Pradeep. Okay, so this is my CPU. This is my CPU model i5 3230M 2.6 gigahertz processor. And if you see, this is my L1 cache 128 KB, L2 cache 512 KB, L3 cache 3.0 MB cache for my processor, from my processor only. Okay, so L1 cache 128 KB, and here it is 512 KB. So usually L1 cache is fixed cache. L1 cache is a fixed cache. L2 cache little bit different is there, but still it is almost very low. but higher than a L1 cache. L3 cache is completely variable. For some processor it is 3 MB, some processor it is 6 MB, some processor it is 12 MB, or a 8 MB, or 4 MB, or 24 MB. You see, L3 cache maximum varies. This is about a basic few points, and few more points are there, so we'll discuss that one. Okay, so in a processor you have to check number of cores, number of threads, uh, cache memory, cache memory. Next, clock speed. Clock speed means 2 gigahertz processor is there. No? The clock speed is how much for a clock speed. Next one is FSB. Always check the FSB. Front side bus. What is this FSB? Okay, the speed of communication between processor and RAM is called FSB. Okay, the communication bus speed is FSB. The communication bus is there, no, that is called a FSB, front side bus, and the speed of front side bus you have to decide. Okay, so must be based on this. We'll select a RAM clock speed. Based on it, we'll select a RAM clock speed. Okay, so like that. CPU is a brain of computer do arithmetic and logical units. Some more detail. One more it is a um, bit width or a bit. Okay, so 32-bit process are there, and 64-bit process also there. So two type of processors are there. So 32-bit and 64-bit. So one more question is like what is the difference between 32-bit and 64-bit processor? Okay, so 64-bit has a certain few things like what is this bit processor, length of instruction. Okay, length of instructions. Okay, so instruction length or a length of instruction, anything you can take it. And another one, another hand is bus width. What is the bus width? Data bus, system bus, like that. So this is a address bus. There are a lot of buses are there. Bus width. So important is what is the bit? Bit means length of instruction. That is a very important. Length of instruction is 32 in a 32-bit processor. Length of instruction is 64 in a 64-bit processors. Okay. So I will put a features of 64-bit processor. What are the features of 64-bit processor? Is size of instruction. Okay. Size of instruction is big. Big means it's a 64-bit means KB programs you can able to run. So you can run big applications or programs. Okay, we can run big applications programs. You can able to do it. So we need a high RAM size is required. Now next one is virtualization feature. Okay, next one is virtualization technology. What is virtualization technology? We can run multiple guest OS in same physical machine. Meaning, meaning is okay. Meaning is how to tell. This is my laptop. In my laptop, I have a Windows 10 operating system. Usually, I will take a classes of Linux, Windows 10, Windows servers, okay, like that. So I need a multiple computers. Instead of buying a multiple computers, I use my machine only. Okay. So how to do it? So yesterday I took a class on a Windows 10 with a Hyper-V in it. So like this. This is a virtual machine. This is the Windows Server 2016 machine. This is a Linux machine, so it is contains CentOS Linux. This is a Windows 10 machine with the DevOps tools are installed in it. DevOps tools are installed in it. So this is a XP machine. Okay, XP virtual machine, XP operating system is there. So this is a 2012 server. This is a 2003 server. Like that. So this is a Proximox. So different kind of virtualization server. This is VMware vSphere server. VMware vSphere server. Like that, I have a multiple type of server virtual machines I can able to run in same single machine. Otherwise, what will happen? How to buy multiple computers? So then, how to maintain? I have to put a lot of cost in it. Due to the virtualization technology in your processor, we can run multiple virtual machines in a same single physical machine, same laptop only. So that is a power of virtualization technology. So, but I have written multiple guest OS. What is multiple guest OS? In my laptop, I have Windows 10. That is called a host OS. Okay. In my laptop, okay, I have Windows 10. So what we call it as host OS. Okay. In my in virtual machines, I have in virtual machines, I have a, for example, Linux. Okay. So that Linux we called as a guest OS. Virtual machine, I have a Linux. Or maybe server 2016. Okay. Or a Windows server 2016. Or maybe I have a Windows XP. Okay. Or maybe Windows 10. So in a virtual machine, what are the operating system you have? That operating system we call it as a guest voice. In physical machine, what voice we have? That is called a host voice. Okay. So how it is possible? Virtualization technology, secure boot, UEFI. Okay, like this. Certain features you will get it with a 64-bit only. So this is 64-bit. Of course, size is required more also, and also it can able to handle the size. So difference between car and truck. Car can only a certain limit of load only. Truck is a very big one, so big tires, big things, compulsory required, but it can able to go with a more load. So that's the difference. 32-bit, 64-bit, and some features. So very few more points. I will finish up this CPU part. Okay. So main important of CPU is it's a central processing unit. Intel, AMD, VIA, Motorola. These are the just example for a CPU manufacturer. And a competition, Intel and AMD is a more popular in a PC and laptop processor models. So when you see a processor, you have to check what is the clock speed and what is the cache memory, number of cores, number of threads, front side bus, which is must be equal to your RAM clock speed matches. Okay. Next one is 32-bit or a 64-bit processor. What is 32-bit and 64-bit processor? So it is a length of instructions. Is a bit means length of instructions. Okay, so different features are there in a 64 32-bit also. So one more I want to tell. Some people write 32-bit as 86 x86. So some people represent 32-bit as a x86 also. Due to earlier days, Intel processor are 8086 models are there. 8086, 80186, 286, 386. So the if it is an Intel processor, to tell it is an Intel processor x86. Okay, to tell it is a Intel processor, they represent x86. Most of Intel processors are 32-bit that time earlier days, so still they are representing x86 only. Okay, nowadays we have got a 64-bit, so they have got a confused between how to represent 32-bit and 64-bit. So sometimes they represent as a 32-bit, sometimes as a 64-bit. But if you are using a 64-bit, so how to represent? Okay, how to represent this one? X86 64 means Intel 64-bit processor. Intel 64-bit processor, application or operating system. Anything you have to represent 32-bit application, 32-bit operating system. AMD 64. AMD 64. Because AMD type of processor, it represent AMD 64 means AMD type of processor with a 64-bit. Because AMD one except one or two processor, all processor 64-bit processors only. Okay. Another one. X64. X64 meaning is nothing. Just to tell it is a 64. Some people write X64. Okay. Next. In 32-bit also, people write i386 or a i586. Both represent 32-bit type of operating system or application only. So it's no difference between these things, no difference between this kind of stuff. Okay, so x86 represent Intel, x86 represent Intel, x86 also represent 32-bit, and this is also represent 32-bit. I represent Intel. For 64-bit Intel x86 64, for 64-bit AMD this one. This is general one. Other 64-bit only. So be careful when you look at an application. So on application, OS and hardware means CPU. So it is a representation. So be careful when you are using it. Only two more points I want to tell guys before I skip. This is how chip is look like. Of course, cache memory. Cache memory. So what is this cache memory? Cache memory is nothing but SRAM memory only. SRAM means static RAM. SRAM means static RAM. It is also a RAM only. Okay, so use it for load data. Okay, use it for CPU purpose only. Okay, it is on the CPU, on CPU only, not a separate one. It is integral part of CPU. It is a integral CPU. So it contains the levels L1, L2, L3 levels. Okay. So mainly L3 cache varies PMB, 4 MB, 6 MB, okay, 12 MB, like that. So different variables are there. One more, next point. Um, I don't have space here. Guys, look at this one. This is the CPU. This is a CPU, and CPU will get overheated. So if CPU working like you have a mobile phone and all, it will get overheated. So what will happen? So if it is got overheated, it will be damaged. It will be damaged. So we have to put a small arrangement that is called a heat sink. Okay, what heat sink will do? Heat sink will absorb the heat, absorb the heat from CPU. Okay, from CPU, heat sink absorb the heat. So CPU, this is CPU, this is heat sink. Okay, this is heat sink. Once it is observed, the heat should be go out. So to do that one, we need a fan assembly on it. So we need a fan assembly on it. Okay. Okay. So what is this fan will do? So it will send heat outside. It will send heat outside like this. So then CPU will maintain the temperature constantly. So without overheating it. Without overheating it. Okay. Next. So between the CPU and this heat sink, there is a heat sink paste. There is a heat sink paste. It will provide a good contact to maintain a good contact between CPU and heat sink. So what is the use of this contact? So the whenever CPU heated, it is easily give the heat to heat sink. So then heat sink easily absorb the heat from CPU and it will send outside. How it is look like, I will show you. So like this. If you look at in the bottom, we have a CPU and this is a heat sink. It is a nothing but a alloy material. So usually base material is aluminum with a combination of some alloys. So it is like that. Okay. Sometimes we use a copper rods also in some places. So if you see, normal air is flowing through these fins. So what happened? Heat sink absorb the heat. Heat sink absorb the heat. So temperature means the air will cool this one. This heat sink only, not a CPU. Okay. These are all heat sink only. This is a heat sink fan. This is a heat sink fan. You can see heat sink fans. Okay. So different type of heat sink fans also there in a different ways. In a laptop also it is a different type of assemblies. Okay. If you use AMD type, yeah, this is a laptop. Under this fan, no CPU. We have a CPU side only. This is a CPU, and this copper rod will absorb the heat and distribute the heat to this heat sink. So the fan will go blow the heat outside. If you see this thing, the black small one, so that is the way it is heat out. See, here it is. So it absorbs the heat and send a heat outside, means it will cool the system. Okay, some people will put a laptop on their laps. Laptop is basically named laptop is, if you put a you can put a laptop on your lap, on your thighs you can put it, and you can work on it. But if you do like that, you are blocking the air vents, breathers. So what happen, air is not unable to go inside and unable to come outside also, so you are blocking it. CPU will get, processor will get overheated, then it will be damaged. Next, battery will damage, or anything, something will be damaged, guarantee. Okay. Next one is heat sink paste. So this is a different type of paste are there. It's a cheaper. If you are going outside, you will get it 10 and 20 rupees. You will get it in Amazon. It is very costly. Other side, it is, if you don't want to touch with a finger, then you can buy like this. Cost increases also, depends upon, yeah, this is very less cost. Then it is good. Okay. So how to apply? Very simple. This is a CPU, and you have to put a uh, paste on it. Once you put a paste on it, then you have use your they will give you a simple spoon kind of stuff. Okay. It is like a facial type of spoon only. Okay, like this. You'll get a small spoon, then apply on the top of your CPU. Okay, on the top of CPU you have to apply. Then this is the bottom of uh, um, heat sink. This that is the bottom of heat sink. Okay, so like that. Here, see how they applied a heat sink paste. So if you put a heat sink paste, heat will be easily absorbed by. Okay, see, you can see these pictures. Okay, so heat is easily absorbed by heat sink. So then CPU maintain the temperature. So here it is, right, and later you can search heat sink, heat sink paste. This paste also called as thermal compound or a paste. Okay, it's also called as thermal compound or a heat sink paste. Heat sink paste. So what is the purpose of this heat sink and heat sink paste? CPU should not get overheated. Okay. So before I'm going to tell a troubleshooting point, so then I want one more point is there. CPU socket or a slot is important. Which type of socket you are using, which type of slot you are using in CPU is also very important. Okay. So in generally Intel, you'll get a sockets like a PGA, okay, or LGA type of sockets. Nowadays we have a LGA type, so like a LGA 1151, LGA 1150, LGA 1200, like this. So if you go to any CPU model, so like you can type um, you can go to Intel website also, or you can go to Amazon kind of stuff also, no problem. Okay, see LGA 1200, LGA 1200 CPU. Okay, so this is Asus motherboard, which is compatible with a, this is a CPU socket. This is a CPU socket. AM4. It is showing AM4. If you look at closely, AM4. So what is this AM4? For AMD type of processor. See, this is the AMD type of processor. This is AMD type of processor, Athlon processor. Okay, this is Athlon processor, two core processor. Type is AM4. Cache memory. speed. See, sockets are different from one processor to other type of processor. That's why they won't fit it. And this is i3, i5, i7, 9th, 10th and 11th generations. If you go with the ninth generation, this is the processor. If you go 7th generation, this is the processor. Okay. AMD is like AM4, AM3, AM plus, F models are there. Okay. So verify the sockets also. Ah, last point, and I will give you a break also. So don't worry. Okay. I will give you a break, not a close one. So last point I will tell. So the troubleshooting point issue. Uh, Issues we will tomorrow. Okay. So issues I will tell tomorrow. Guys, take break. 10 minutes break only because 10 minutes is enough. Um, Otherwise take 15 minutes. Um, so so 12:35 to 12:40. Be by 12:40. Everybody should be here. Okay. So now you take it, and everybody back at by 12:35 to 12:40. By 12:40 again I will start. Okay, because if you are using a mobile you will disconnect it, right? So then you can do it, and tell everybody to join again. Okay.